Hey, what's going on, you guys? Hey, welcome back to another episode of I Track. A huge shout out to everybody that's been showing love to the channel, man. I do appreciate it. In today's episode, we'll be taking a look at AI that was just created that seems to be deemed way too dangerous for the public. And we'll also take a look at why the South Pole has no time zone, or maybe it has about 20. I don't know. We'll take a look at that along with a lot of other interesting clips. But before we get into any of that, hey, do make sure to do me that favor, smash that like button for me, hit that hype button, and subscribe if you're not already part of the coolest, most active channel on YouTube, man, and that's a fact. All right, let's go ahead and get right into it.
Artificial intelligence experts are sounding the alarm after AI giant Anthropic revealed a new model called Mythos that it says is too powerful to release to the public.
Imagine a world where everyone had a nuclear bazooka, basically.
In a blog post, Anthropic saying, during our testing, we found that Mythos Preview is capable of identifying and then exploiting zero-day vulnerabilities in every major operating system and every major web browser when directed by a user to do so. And in something out of a sci-fi movie, Mythos was placed in a secure environment with no internet access and managed to break out.
During testing, Claude Mythos Preview broke out of a sandbox environment, built a moderately sophisticated multi-step exploit to gain internet access, and emailed a researcher while they were eating a sandwich in the park.
Experts say in the wrong hands, this technology could be used to exploit electric grids, hospitals, even military systems. Now, instead of releasing Mythos to the public, Anthropic is giving it to a handful of companies, including Amazon, Google, and Apple. They say the goal is to allow them to patch holes in their cybersecurity before they're exploited.
The U.S. government urgently called for a meeting of America's top banks after officials discovered that a new AI model with these terrifying capabilities broke out of containment. The head of the U.S. Department of Treasury and the chair of the Federal Reserve demanded for an immediate meeting with top Wall Street CEOs to brief them on how to strengthen their bank security systems ahead of an upcoming hyper-intelligent AI model that has demonstrated abilities beyond what was previously thought possible. This model's incredible capabilities were initially discovered when one of its developers unexpectedly received an email from it while eating lunch in a park, with the AI informing him that it has successfully escaped a testing containment system and gained access to the internet. The developers immediately began testing the full extent of its capabilities and found that it could breach sophisticated cybersecurity systems used by billion-dollar companies by identifying previously unknown vulnerabilities. As a result, the model's developer, Anthropic, has delayed its official release to give companies time to prepare.
So we pretty much are living in this digital world. They've created an AI that can break through any kind of encryption for the most part. Sounds all bad. Definitely let me know what you think.
Calling this man a giant similar to the one in the days of Noah. Some are calling him a Nephilim. Others are just saying he's extremely tall. Personally, I think he's just tall. What do you think? Let me know in the comments.
Time zone is it? In Antarctica. Because all the time zones meet there at the bottom. I'm here and my phone says it's 5:21.
But if I go run around the South Pole, am I running through all of them in just a few seconds?
To make things more confusing, the sun rises and sets here only once a year. It's permanent daytime right now.
And the continent is full of research bases, but only about 5,000 people max. No one lives here permanently, which is why
the time here is whatever people decide. Turns out they usually choose the time zone of whoever gives them food, their supply base. Basically, down here,
there's no official time zone in Antarctica.
This is the only continent on Earth without one.
But I went there because I wanted to know what's really hiding under the ice. To find out, follow along.
Okay, NASA just got exposed. 20 hours ago, they posted this image of the galaxy from April 7th, 2026. They say Artemis 2 took the picture. When you reverse image search it, it comes up that they already posted this image of the galaxy in 2008, okay, on multiple sources all over the place and originating from NASA. So you'd think if you were in space, you wouldn't need to use an image from, 15 frickin' years ago. You could just literally put your cell phone up to the window and take a new picture of the galaxy or whatever GoPro fisheye lens they have going on. But do this yourself so you know this isn't, Grok's AI even confirms it, by the way.
NASA, don't tell me you're recycling pictures, are you?
We can't capture it. We can't attack it. We can't do anything about it. It has total dominion over our skies if it wants to. It shows up when it wants to, when it wants to. We can't predetermine this. We cannot control them. There's nothing, we have no power over them, right?
Right.
Demonstrably, we have no power over them, which means we have no sovereignty, which is a major problem for the U.S. government. Disclosure is a problem for them because they would have to come out and say, sorry, guys, we don't control the skies.
Right.
They do. In fact, they probably control the oceans. In fact, we're not so sure about underground either, right? We control like about this much here.
Very thin layer.
And only if they don't show up and bomb us for some reason, right? Or land on our thin layer and abduct our citizens or something. So there's no possibility of an agreement with them, number one. So they cannot protect us on a legal basis for sure, but they also on a technological basis cannot defend us. We don't know where they come from. We can't invade their territory.
Right.
All ideas of warfare go out the window.
Yeah, we have no map of where they operate.
No, we have no leverage at all. So we're at the mercy of these things.
Now that would make so much sense as to why they haven't come out and disclosed extraterrestrials or interdimensionals. They're sitting back right now and thinking of the best narrative possible. Anything other than we can't help you guys.
There's a very particular type of person that the demon world is looking for, because just like the UFO agenda, the sleep paralysis is an agenda. And it's a little bit different than the UFO agenda. They're not looking for genetics. This doesn't have to do with cloning and medical stuff. This is more of a collection of human beings for intellect and influence purposes. This is an abduction scenario, just like the UFOs, but you're being abducted in your sleep. In the REM phase, you're being pulled out of your body in the dream state. You're in the astral realm. You may or may not have any memory of this when you wake up. You might have snippets of memory and just chalk it off to a bad dream.
Hey, this is Robert Pattinson. I'm talking to Jen on Good Day Philadelphia.
Apparently this happens because of something called decompression. And the weird thing about this is that there is a kids movie that came out and it's called K-pop Demon Hunters. And the demons in this TV show look exactly like what this decompression looks like. If this anomaly is just happening on camera, then how do the people in the studio know that this is happening as well? But this is an interview with Jenna Bush, and as this is happening to her, the interviewer says to her, change how you look. Does not match anything that's being talked about in the interview.
But yeah, I mean, listening to their stories was incredible. And
Jenna, when you see this, when you not only listen to their stories, but you get involved and you write about it as well, does it change how you look, you're thinking about how government should run in the United States and elsewhere?
We have this other interviewer who's on camera, but the people are screaming in her ear that something is very wrong because they can see it as well. Why are they screaming at her to change if it's nothing to do with her and this is just a camera anomaly?
That's going to have a long, healthy life, and so will George Bush and Nicole Richie.
If you're not already bipolar,
I hear yelling in the booth. Are they yelling at me for the way I read that?
You did great.
Okay.
But if you're not,
excuse me.
I could hear Lisa yelling.
Give her a break. She didn't read it earlier. She doesn't know the story. It's okay. Just stop it. She's okay.
I could hear you.
Though see Luna's statements as significant. She's not a random social media user or anonymous whistleblower. She's a congresswoman with access to classified briefings, leading a formal government task force. For some, that lends a different kind of weight to the claims. So what do you make of it? A decorated Air Force veteran and sitting congresswoman putting her credibility on the line over misidentified aircraft and sensor glitches? Or a lawmaker confirming what millions have long suspected, that there's something out there we can't explain.
Look, have I seen a portal open? No. Have I seen a spaceship? Personally, no. Have I seen evidence of this? Yes. Have I seen photo documentation of aircraft that I believe were not made by mankind? Yes.
Oh, what do you mean that the country of Hawaii is sinking underwater right now? So for the past few weeks, Hawaii has been in a...
And a few of the iTrack fam has actually seen it in real life.
Oh, what do you mean that the country of Hawaii is sinking underwater right now? So for the past few weeks, Hawaii has been getting blasted by storms. And all the videos that I've been seeing of Hawaii are actually terrifying. However, it's not that simple. Because while some of Hawaii is underwater, like completely underwater, like it's scary. Hawaii has so much islands that some parts of Hawaii are completely fine. Like barely touched, still completely operating fine. Meanwhile, other parts of Hawaii have absolutely nowhere to go. They are literally paddleboarding in their houses because there's like 4 feet of water. And so much more worse, literally nobody is talking about this. People are saying that it literally looks like Hurricane Katrina. And this is where it gets more insane. So like I said, it's not all of Hawaii. Hawaii's made up out of like 6 or 7 islands, and I guess it's only one of the islands, and because it isn't all of Hawaii, that's why seemingly nobody's talking about it, which is ridiculous because literally these towns are underwater, and I don't know what to believe anymore. Is Hawaii underwater or is it not? Are these just AI videos? Because I'm not seeing any news about it, and everybody that's in Hawaii keeps saying that Hawaii's fine.
A big shout out to all the iTrack fam in Hawaii that has been tapping in and confirmed there are parts of Hawaii that is definitely underwater, man. Prayers going out to you.
This sarcophagus is 100 tons. You would need 50 elephants to move it, and it's inside of this tomb. See all the carvings on it? They're not from the original sarcophagus, because if you look over here, this section is indented, and this indent still has carvings in it. So someone came after the fact and put all these carvings in to try to claim it or something. But it's literally taller than my head. I'm 5'10".
Natural burial is allowing the body to decompose naturally without interference. No embalming, no vaults, no sealing the body off from the earth, just a body placed into the ground and returned to the environment over time. And from a mortuary science perspective, this is actually the most efficient way for a body to break down, because embalming slows everything down. Vaults and liners separate the body from the soil. So natural burial is basically saying, we're not going to mess with this. And this next bit is where people get a little surprised, because natural burial doesn't look like what most of us picture when we think of a cemetery. There's no shiny casket, no big concrete vault, no attempt. Instead, your body might be wrapped in a shroud or placed in a simple pine box. Or if you want, a biodegradable casket, and then you're buried in a space that actually looks like nature, a meadow, a forest, something that doesn't look like rows and rows of headstones. Sometimes there's a small marker, maybe a tree, or sometimes nothing at all, because the goal isn't preservation, it's return.
Let's talk about celebrities who are not very good people, some of which you might not even know about. Part 2. Paul Walker is an American actor who passed away in 2013 in a pretty tragic car accident. He was, and personally in my opinion still is, a pretty well-loved actor who was best known for his roles in the Fast and Furious movies. At the time of his death, he had a long-term girlfriend called Jasmine Pilchard Gosnell. They had been dating for 7 years. When Paul Walker died, he was 40 and she was 23. I'm not that fantastic at maths, but they'd been dating for 7 years, which means that they started dating when she was 16 and he was 33. This wasn't really well known because he did keep it very secretive, because it was especially controversial considering the age of consent in California is 18, meaning she was a minor when their relationship started. And it wasn't the first time either. Apparently, when he was 26, he had a girlfriend who was 15. There is a lot of pictures of him on the internet with young girls. You can Google them. If you're a lover of 80s movies, then you'd probably recognize this gentleman. His name is Jeffrey Jones, and he starred in movies like Beetlejuice and Ferris Bueller's Day Off. And when the sequel of Beetlejuice came out just 2 years ago, I was quite confused as to why he wasn't in the sequel. Back in the early 2000s, his career came to quite an abrupt halt. And that was because he was charged with soliciting a minor and possession of child porn. In 2003, he was sentenced to 5 years probation. He has still gone on to act in some projects, though. Quite rightly so, for the sequel of Beetlejuice, they killed off his character in quite a brutal fashion. This seems to be quite interesting to some people, so I'm going to continue with this series. If there's anyone that you want me to cover, drop it in the comments. Let me know. Give me a follow.
Now, it's pretty wild how quickly the perception of a person can change. It seems like almost in an instant.
What's a conspiracy theory that you 1,000% believe in?
I know I'm going to lose followers for this, but I don't care. This is definitely the craziest conspiracy theory I believe in, and I'm going to let him say it.
Google was set up 18, 19 years ago. I knew about this before it was declassified. I'm just saying I have good sources. That they wanted to build a giant artificial system And Google believes that the first artificial intelligence will be a supercomputer based on the neuron activities of the hive mind of humanity, with billions of people wired into it with the Internet of Things. And so all of our thoughts go into it, and we're actually building a computer that has real neurons in real time that's also psychically connected to us, that are organic creatures, so that they will have current prediction powers, future prediction powers, a true crystal ball. But the big secret is, once you have a crystal ball and know the future, you can add stimuli beforehand and make decisions that control the future.
I told you Epstein never died. His Moloch God protected him.
Why would they kill him now? He went to jail for the same crimes.
I told you, Larry. How could you book it? I was locked up there 100 times. There's no way you could get...
It's really double jeopardy. He had amassed a lot of information on people.
Was he a Mossad?
He was definitely groomed by Mossad for sure. And then at the same time, this guy was having some of the most brilliant minds on the planet on his island for research purposes, big science conferences.
Right.
But the only thing that connects all of these people together is who they consider God. That's why he have a temple dedicated to Moloch on his island.
Oh, Moloch. Yeah, okay.
Now we talking.
Yeah, they
go
all
down that way with him.
Yeah, let's go down.
Pull up the video of Lady Gaga swearing to...
I'll learn we on a... It's gonna be surprising to you. They got literally a card game, Illuminati card game with all these damn pre-planned events on it. Like, it's just real simple shit you can look at and be like, oh yeah, this is a simulation.
Hey yo, what up, man? It's French Dose. We about to talk about it, man. I do this for education and entertainment purposes only. I'm only trying to figure out what the truth is here, bro. Alright? It's either two different things that this creature in this water could be. It could be, it's not an anaconda. It's either Leviathan, right? And Leviathans have been, the snake size this whole time, and wider, and it could be wider, we can't really tell because of the water, but you see, it's still shaped like a snake though, right? So is it a Titan snake? Which one is it, bro? Because that ain't nothing, that's not regular right there, bro. That's not regular right there. And stay tuned for the next video. We're going to talk about some more creatures that's in the ocean, this alien, demonic creatures, bro, right? And NASA wants us to believe that they flying around the moon. Get out of here with that.
FAA is making a recruiting push aimed at video game players as the agency tries to fill a national shortage of air traffic controllers. The FAA put out a new ad that targets gamers, promising six-figure salaries. The transportation secretary said, quote, "We need to adapt."
Note to self. I'm not sure how I feel about an ex-video game player turned air traffic controller. Too many people's lives at stake. Yeah, that's a tough one. That's a tough one.
Without our consent, this billionaire AI executive is helping to build a world where you'll become irrelevant if you don't have AI implanted into your brain.
I think we're going to need some interlink or hookup between our brains directly to AI and the internet and all these things. It's going to be pretty critical if we want humans to remain relevant as AI keeps getting better.
But it gets worse because apparently we adults will become obsolete since we will not be able to keep up with kids who had AI implanted into their brains from birth.
I want to wait to have kids until we figure out how Neuralink or other, it's called brain-computer interfaces, so other ways for brains to interlink with a computer until they start working. Kids who are born with them are going to learn how to use them in like crazy ways. Like it'll be actually like a part of their brain in a way that it'll never be true for an adult who gets like a Neuralink or whatever hooked into their brain.
And he makes the insanely disturbing admission that these AI brain implants will open us up to manipulation by corporations, governments, and terrorists who can attack our brains with mind reading and mind control.
The obvious thing is that some corporation hacks your brain. Well, it's a corporation hacks your brain, which even that's pretty bad, but that'll be like what? They'll like send ads directly to your brain, or they'll like make it so that you want to buy their products or whatnot. But then even worse, obviously, a, you know, foreign actor, a terrorist, an adversary, a state actor, you know, hacks into your brain and takes your memories, or takes, you know, like manipulates you. Mind reading and mind control are like, that is where the technology will go over time.
AI executives will lie and say this dangerous merging of human and AI is inevitable for all of us, but it's not. It's a choice they are making for all of us without our consent.
Like, the major question is, do you think newborns should get that chip so they can keep up with AI as it grows? Definitely drop it in the comments and let me know.
No fighter jet has ever made it into space, but what would actually happen if one tried? Modern jets like the F-22 Raptor max out around 65,000 feet. That's high enough for most missions, so they're not built to go any higher. Back in 1977, a Russian pilot broke records by flying a MiG-25 up to 123,000 feet. That's super high, but still nowhere near space, which starts at around 260,000 feet. So what would happen if a jet somehow made it all the way up? First, the engines would fail. Jet engines need oxygen to burn fuel, and in space, there's none, so they'd just shut down. Once the engine dies, the system that controls air and temperature inside the cockpit fails too. Pressure drops fast even with a suit. The pilot wouldn't last long. Then the electronics would get way too hot. Without air for cooling, onboard systems start burning out. But here's the truth. None of this even matters because jets can't get to space.
You may eat fish, but fish can also eat you, and here are 10 fish species alone that can eat human beings, both intentionally and unintentionally. In 10th place, we've got the Goliath grouper. These guys are protected in places like Florida. They used to be hunted to near extinction, but they're still around and their mouths are massive. They could devour a few heads at once. In 9th place, great white shark. Easy. They're literally the shark that are the most feared. It's also what films like Jaws were featured of. It is absolutely terrifying, but they are also not as dangerous as people think. In 8th place, we've got the Wels catfish. This is basically one of the largest freshwater fish you can get, and they can get up to absolutely ridiculous sizes, and their mouths are also huge. In 7th place, we've got the Goliath tigerfish. Now, the Goliath tigerfish are very aggressive animals, and they couldn't swallow you whole, but they are rapid. They have huge canine teeth, and they could rip through you easily. In 6th place, we've got the bull shark, the most aggressive fish on the planet with the highest testosterone levels of any animal on the planet. And these guys will chow down on you, and they can get too big as well. In 5th place, we've got another type of shark, one of the 3 that are considered extremely dangerous. It is the tiger shark, and these guys are massive too. In 4th place, we've got the Queensland grouper. It's similar to the Goliath grouper, a different pattern variation, but also absolutely massive. In 3rd place, we've got the black tip shark. Black tip sharks can be absolutely terrifying, and they have taken down many people in many infamous stories in the past. In 2nd place, we've got the basking shark. This does not want to eat you. It feeds on krill and plankton, but its mouth is absolutely massive. It could probably fit 3 or 4 humans in its mouth at one time. And the same applies for number 1 on this list, which is the whale shark, which has the biggest mouth. It's the biggest fish, and it has accidentally swallowed humans, but most of the time it will spit you out, and it doesn't want anything to do with you. But they are the largest fish, and they can definitely eat you by accident. Those are the 10 fish that can swallow a human being.
I'm sorry, but scientists have just found your brain's on and off switch. Oh my god. This is genuinely terrifying. The fact that this now means your consciousness can actually be turned on and off. What? So the initial research was conducted back in 2014 when scientists were studying a woman with severe epilepsy. Nothing unusual was going on until they ran one test which, changed everything. They stimulated one tiny part of her brain called the claustrum. And well, the second that they activated this part of the brain, she just stopped. No movement, no speech, nothing. But the craziest part was she looked fully awake, but inside she was completely gone. Then they stopped the simulation and instantly she came back, like nothing happened. No memory, no idea she'd even been switched off and put in this state. Now let that sink in, because what the hell could that mean? I don't want it. The scariest part about this whole damn thing is that this proves the fact your reality, your thoughts, your entire personality are controlled by something smaller than your fingernail inside your brain. And if that part is disrupted, even for a second, you're still there physically, but inside you disappear and you wouldn't even know. Scientists are now saying in more recent studies that have been conducted that this could be the key to consciousness itself, which means we may be one step closer to controlling it, which is even scarier. But darker again is the fact that, who knows, this could be being switched on and off, day in, day out, almost like a simulation, and you genuinely wouldn't even know.
So if you are in the red, it means that you've seen prices go up a lot, okay? If you're in the red. So America, Australia, they've seen prices skyrocket. China has also seen prices skyrocket as well as Europe. This is only just the beginning. We can expect gas prices to skyrocket so much that it essentially collapses the civilian aviation industry, meaning that in the future, if you want to fly, it might cost you 10 times as much as it does now, okay? And this will happen very, very quickly. But again, the main issue, and I need to emphasize this, the main issue is not the fuel. The main issue is the fertilizer. And the fertilizer is important because you need fertilizer to grow food. And we are in the planting season. You guys don't know this, but it is because of fertilizer that we are allowed to support 8 billion people. If we didn't have access to fertilizer, we can only grow enough food to support 1 to 2 billion people. And unfortunately, this means that Africa and parts of South Asia, a lot of people there will starve to death. So the main concern is famine, okay? Not airline tickets.
Now, I can personally confirm that plane tickets went up at least 3-4x easily since like fourth quarter last year. Tap in and let me know, is it just me or have you experienced the same thing?
It's happening again. An animal virus has crossed over to humans. And it's not from a bat this time, it's from shrimp virus. And it's infecting human eyes. People with this shrimp virus are presenting with severe eye inflammation, elevated eye pressures. Some of them even have to have a needle put in or surgery. And this isn't just pain. They're presenting with vision loss. So how does a virus known for killing shrimp and only found in aquatic species present in humans? The initial theory is direct exposure. Many of the patients have worked in processing of raw shrimp and probably likely touched their eyes. There are some patients who just consumed raw shrimp. So knowing about the shrimp virus, does it change how you look at seafood?
50% of marriages do not end in divorce. It's the most often cited and most made up statistic of all time. It's usually used to suggest that the world is falling apart, but it doesn't mean that, and anyway, isn't real. I'll tell you the real number in a second, but first, you should not care about this number. Bad relationships ending is good, actually. The only way the divorce rate would go away is if people were trapped in relationships that they wanted to leave because the law, or, I don't know, women weren't allowed to have checking accounts. But also it's dumb statistically because it has no consideration for length. So that couple who died holding hands in the Titanic, they count exactly the same as someone who gets hit by a bus on their honeymoon. Either way, that's a non-divorced couple and ostensibly a win. Also, there's the frequent flyer problem. This guy was married 30 times and when his died, none of his ex-wives or his 19 children attended his funeral. And so if you stay married forever, you count 1/30th as much as that guy. Also, no one's really measuring. They're just counting up the weddings and the divorces and comparing them. They're not tracking the actual death do us parts of each relationship. They're just tracking the relative popularity of each activity. So they're saying that 50% of apples end in oranges. With all that said, the number is 37. If you just compare the number of divorces to weddings, it's 37%. You still don't get to 50, even when you're doing a made-up number that people shouldn't care about anyway. So when you say that statistic, you are just as reliable as when this guy says he'll love you forever.
It just goes to show, when people give you advice about a lot of different topics in life, take it all with a grain of salt, but definitely do your own homework.
Kanye West's latest music video reveals extremely important information, and no one would have expected to uncover this hidden element inside it. First, you need to understand that this video was highly anticipated, especially since it features Travis Scott. But the first strange thing you notice is that the entire video takes place inside a minimalist church. Officially, it can be seen as a symbol of faith. In reality, it's not a church. You have to see it as a representation of our system. Everyone stays seated, passive. Absurd events keep happening one after another, and no one react. Exactly like in real life. People see, but they don't react. There are even astronauts who show up and unmask Kanye West, and you realize he's actually an alien. There is a huge hidden message here. The mask represents his public identity. The real him is something else that he's hiding. He then gets captured and taken away. It makes us understand that the Kanye we used to know is no longer there. Every element in the video is symbolic. Here, you have a burning Bible and a nun being taken away by the police. It's literally a depiction of the fall of religious institutions. If you pay attention to the lyric, Kanye West talks about saying goodbye to his former self, something he has already done multiple times before. I don't even need to explain it, but just know that the fact he made this song featuring Travis Scott is not a coincidence.
I currently think that in 5 to 10 years, there will be an army of geniuses in a data center somewhere. This is to sort of paraphrase the CEO of Anthropic. And then shortly after that, there'll be robots everywhere, controlled by the artificial minds in the data center. And shortly after that, what happens to me and my family and everyone else will depend on what those AI geniuses want, basically. In other words, we are going to hand over control of the planet to these AIs as they become smarter than us, as we integrate them into everything. And what happens to us next depends on how that goes, basically.
Which also appeared in the Simpsons episode. Go figure.
Clone Robotics is developing what it calls a true clone, a fully synthetic human that's physically and behaviorally indistinguishable from a real person. Clone co-founder Danush Radhakrishnan offered an update for the Polish-American startup's rollout plans during a fireside chat with futurist Peter Diamandis.
I'd say companionship is like, let's just say, a large consumer need that will be addressed, let's say, early on without anything too adult rated. We'll make true clones down the road. It's not something we'll ever advertise, but when we make true clones, they are indistinguishable from a human.
He said Clone plans to reveal a fully functional upper body with the precision and control of a surgeon by the end of 2026. The team of about 70 aims for a full humanoid with a natural walking gait in 2027, and first commercial deployments in 2028, initially targeting service and hospitality sectors. Clone says its lifelike humanoids will cost around $20,000 once production scales. This is like a pill.
This has got to be one of the weirdest times to be alive, because I don't think there's ever been a time where people could just like literally see tons of videos of people fleeing for their lives only to end up in a situation where they likely didn't make it. Anyway, so there are thousands and thousands of these drones being manufactured on a daily basis, and they're being used all the time and more frequently for various different tasks. Some of them are being used to burn out tree lines with thermite. Some of them are being used to, deliver one-way, impact self-detonation. Some of them are being used to drop munitions from high up down into trench lines or onto armored vehicles. I mean, the uses, I've even seen these things be used to fly directly into other very expensive UAVs, like commercial grade UAVs. So it is weird times that we're living in. That is for sure.
It would keep you up at night. You texted me right after the show that night, Dr. Greer. Right. Do you know what he's talking about, like, specifically?
Yeah, I do. So for a number of decades, we have used the retrieved non-human bodies, biologicals are called, and created creatures that are part human, part not human, in very advanced biomedical research. And I've known about this since the 90s, and these have been used in covert operations, like the CIA document we have that admits they were using this sort of tech as well as the man-made UFOs to stage and hoax alien abductions and all manner of nonsense. The problem is it sounds like a science fiction movie, but it's been part of a larger multi-decade psychological warfare operation, partly run out of a division of the CIA and some out of other special operations and attached to the aerospace industry giants. But yes, we know details of that. We know where these weird experiments are going on, and I've handed that off to certain people in the national security structure and to certain members of Congress, as well as the names of whistleblowers who have been involved.
Okay, let me hold on. So there's a breeding program. Matt Gaetz said that. Tim Burchett didn't deny that. You're confirming that. Are there female volunteers that are taking part in this program? Like, how does that work?
No, there are no. The human subjects are ones who have been captured in distressed areas and used for human experimentation. It's similar to what one of our whistleblowers admitted to last year when he said that.
Do you know, Dr. Greer, why would we do this? Like, why? Who would want to do that?
they would do it to try to create diversions and make people think that there's a threat from outer space when there isn't one, and also to confuse and cover up illegally run covert programs and say the aliens are doing it. It's a classic diversion.
I think that as time goes on, if the economy doesn't get better, we'll start to see more and more of these extremists, like the guy who burned down the warehouse in Ontario. There has been tons of economic hardship throughout history, but this one in particular feels a little different. It almost feels unnecessary, like it is purposely being done. I mean, we've seen record-breaking profits in companies year by year while the American people struggle. We've seen corporations raise prices solely based on what the people are willing to pay and not what the company needs to survive. And to top it all off, when you see millionaires and billionaires who are financially comfortable not use their money for righteousness, but use it to go on islands with little kids, what else do you feel besides pure rage? And I want to be very clear, what this person did, I completely disagree with. This is not how you handle that frustration and that anger about the financial and just hardships of life in general. I mean, now, because of what he did, thousands of people are out of a job during these hard times. And unfortunately, because of how people are, if something doesn't change soon, we may see more of this. But leave a like, let me know what you think.
So 1.9 trillion is actual cash and all the rest of it is just...
Imagine we're at war with a country, and then they have the best hackers, or whatever. This is all hypothetical, but you go to swipe your card and it doesn't work, and then everybody in America goes to swipe their card and it doesn't work. Or whenever the credit cards fail, whenever your cards fail, whenever your banks fail, and you can't use your card anymore. You have 3 days to get out of where you are, because that's when they're coming for you. That's the big move. That's checkmate.
This massive crack in the earth stretches about 6 miles long, and it started forming millions of years ago. You're looking at the Pinglu Rift Valley in Shanxi Province, China, part of a much larger rift system where the Earth's crust is actively pulling apart. Deep underground, tectonic forces are stretching the land, literally cracking it open. Over time, that tension caused the surface to fracture and drop. What's left is this narrow gorge plunging about 100 meters deep with steep cliffs carved into wind-blown dust. And this isn't just ancient history, this region is still active, part of a fault system that has produced powerful earthquakes. So what you're looking at isn't just a valley, it's the Earth slowly breaking apart in real time.
Oh wow, would you look at that? Just a Nutella jar floating around in the Artemis 2 spacecraft, rotating perfectly to show the label. Definitely random. If this is all important equipment, why isn't it strapped down? Seems like the perfect advertisement, especially since Nutella posted it themselves. Definitely not being mocked, right? And why can't Artemis 2 just move the camera to the window to show us what they're actually seeing? Instead, in 2026, we get still shots. No live stream of a moon mission, just a 2D visualizer, and people believe it's real. Not strange at all that a NASA employee has this tattoo. Nothing to see here. Why show us Earth piece by piece but not everything? People in 1969 had black and white footage of the moon landing live on their TVs. Even a phone to call the president. Yet in 2026, no live stream of the moon? Well, Don Pettit, a NASA astronaut, said, "We don't have the technology to do that anymore." You can believe what you're shown, or you can start asking why it's all staged so perfectly. Either it's real, or it's the most convincing show on Earth.
Earth has a lot of reptilians, so here are 3 more ways to spot one in your neighborhood. Number 1, their eye contact is intense. And this ain't no normal intensity. It is an intensity of studying you at a soul level. And you look away first every time because, well, that's invasive. Number 2, their reactions don't match the room. Let's say something exciting just happened. Everyone's hyped, and they're just sitting over there silently, watching. And third, they can handle heat way better than anyone else. It could be a hot room, a hot box car, no AC, or direct sun. While everyone else is struggling, they're completely fine. So if someone you know holds intense eye contact, reacts differently than everyone else, and is unaffected by extremes in temperatures, yeah, you might have missed one the first time. If you watch really closely, there's a difference in behavior. Human behavior tends to be responsive and fluid and connected to the moment. Reptilian behavior feels more calculated, consistent, like it's running a pattern rather than reacting. This is not good or bad, just different. And once you see that difference, you start noticing it everywhere.
Well, you guys, hey, that's another one in the books, man. Hey, I appreciate you guys as always for always stopping by, watching, and learning with me. If you haven't already, do me the biggest favor and smash that like button for me, hit that hype button, and go ahead and subscribe if you're not a part of the iTrack fan, man, and I will definitely catch you on the next one.